of a video, and ultimately what were the trials and tribulations to win the award. So, that part is most important, and the inspiration that you are going to give to everyone. So that becomes the main event and the main theme for the talk. Okay.
Scientific content should not be much. The whole presentation should not be based on the topic of the video.
And of course, Suhas sir, Rohit, and Amrita, all of you would definitely highlight about video making, the importance of a video, and how to go on to it, and how all the authors gain, as well as how the audience gains from these wonderful videos.
How much is the time for discussion post video?
5 minutes. 5 minutes. 7 minutes of talk. 2.5 minutes of the video you would like to play, your award-winning video, and the rest of it is how you went to make this video.
The discussion is the discussion is 5 minutes.
5 minutes. 5 minutes, and Asim Sil's first video, and then it is Dr. Suhas Haldipurkar and Somshila who will be discussing.
I think 7:01, Partho, we can start.
Yeah,
Okay.
we should start the meeting.
Are we live?
Only Anand Sethi will give us the green signal. We are live now.
Okay, thank you, Anand. Thank you very much, and welcome to the AIOS Scientific Committee, the Aspire for the C S Reshmi, and today is the 6th of August, 7 o'clock, and we begin this wonderful session in which we present to you the phenomenal videos, the C S Reshmi awardees who are going to tell us about the video making, the process, the importance of this video in today's scenario of ophthalmology, how they went on to pick up their own subject, how they went on to create a video, the painstaking hours, the trials, tribulations, and everything, and ultimately it culminated to this award-winning video. So we have our wonderful presenters whom I'll come to you shortly. But first and foremost, I wish to thank the AIOS Governing Council, Dr. Barun Naik, Dr. Lalit Verma, Dr. Harbansh Lal, Dr. Mahipal, Dr. Namrata, Dr. Rajesh, Dr. Santosh, Dr. Arup, and Dr. Chitra for their constant support in all our activities. But the hard work is done by Amit, it's done by Feroz, by Jatinder, by Krishna Prasad Kudlu, by Parikshit, by Somshila, and Sonu. So behind all these webinars and behind the AIOC 2021, it was these men and women at work. And I have to thank them from the bottom of my heart. Of course, thanks to our sponsors of the day, Centis, and Centis has given this opportunity of coming forward and sponsoring this session. So we'll have a 1-minute quick video from Centis. So Anand, can you play the video, please?
Please stop sharing.
Yes. Thank you very much, and thanks to Centis for this the presence that we have. And now we'd like to come and tell you about what C S Reshmi is all about. Well, who was C.S. Reshmi? And I'm sure Lalit sir is going to ask that question of me, and I'm prepared for it, so I'm going to answer it right away, sir.
Last time, therefore, yeah.
So C.S. Reshmi is from Karnataka, our very own Indian ophthalmologist, but now settled in Pittsburgh. And he has many achievements and is one of the uh, very big surgeons in Pittsburgh in USA. And he has been a member of our society as well as has come to India as our guest in many occasions. The C.S. Reshmi Award was started in 1988, and the first award went to Dr. Nam Perumal Swami, Dr. Babu Rajendran, Dr. Bitharia, Dr. Rumi Jahangir, Dr. Keki Mehta, Dr. Jyotirmay Biswas, Dr. Loganathan, Dr. Surendra Basti, Dr. Amar Agarwal, Dr. Daljit Singh, Dr. Raminder Singh, Dr. Janki Raman, Dr. Samar Basak, Dr. Abhay Vasavada, Dr. Prashant Chakravarti, Dr. Sheetal Raj, Dr. Anil Mandal, Dr. Ranjit Maniar, Dr. Suven Bhattacharya, Dr. Arnab Biswas, Dr. Haripriya Arvind, Dr. Asim Kumar Seal, Dr. Subendu Baral, Dr. Suhas Haldipurkar, Dr. Manish Nagpal, Dr. Atiya Agarwal. And of course, it has also gone to Dr. Parag Shah, Dr. Raksha Rao, Dr. Vishal Agarwal, Dr. Nishant Borse, Dr. Santanu Mandal, Dr. Pravakar GV, Dr. Deepak Magur, and this year, Dr. Sangeet Mittal bagged the award. So we have these phenomenal award winners, but how does it make to win these awards? The anterior segment submission for in the video category this year was 168 submissions, and of these 25 were selected to be presented and shortlisted. In the general films category, 94 and 16 were selected. The posterior segment, 68 and 16 were selected. And of 330 videos that were submitted, 57 were selected. They were shortlisted, evaluated by a large number of evaluators who spent hours and hours over these videos. And finally, in the final AIOC, these shortlisted videos came into the CS Reshmi category and won. So thank you very much, sir, Dr. Lalit Verma, who has taken the scientific committee of AIOS to a new height. He's the president-elect now and director of retina services at Center for Sight, New Delhi. Thank you, sir, for joining with us. Dr. Mahipal, sir, is going to join with us very shortly, immediate past president of AIOS and chairman scientific committee of IRSI and chairman and managing director, Center for Sight Group of Eye Hospitals. Dr. Suhas Haldipurkar, sir, Medical Director, Lakshmi Eye Institute. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Namrata, thank you very much for joining. And she's the secretary, the dynamic secretary of AIOS, professor of ophthalmology, cataract and cornea refractive services at RP Center, AIMS. Thank you, Rohit, for joining with us, consultant cornea refractive surgery, vice chairman, Narayana Netralaya, Bangalore, and clinical and translation scientist, Pro Laboratories, and faculty of the Department of Ophthalmology, Maastricht University. Thank you, Malika, for joining with us, senior consultant of retina, vitreous, and uveitis at Apollo Health City in Hyderabad. Thank you very much, Dr. Usha Kim, Chief Orbit and Oculoplasty and Ocular Oncology Services at Aravind Eye Hospital, Madurai. So I would request Dr. Lalit Verma, sir, to say a few words, sir.
So, thank you, Partho, for having us all together once again. To say I'm reminded of what Rohit and Suhas were just talking about. It all started after the phenomenal success of AIOC 2021, and we take pride in saying that we showed it to the world that virtual is a real possibility. And people should not wait for the...
Anand, can you mute everybody, please? Except Lalit Verma, sir.
Anand? Anand is not there.
Sir, I am muting everyone only. All muted, sir. The Dr. Rohit, yes.
So it all started after phenomenal success, and we take pride in, believing that we have showed it to the world that virtual is a real possibility as far as teaching, education, learning goes, and you need not necessarily be present in a physical form, although physical has its own advantages. And this scientific committee does not rest. You see, we are only 1.5 months finished in June, and Partha has already announced the submission process. And till the time between that, he has started this Aspire series. Aspire series, first we had Rangachari, then Aspire for E.T. Selvam, and then now we have Aspire for C S Reshmi. And till the time submission process are going on, I think he will continue to aspire people to submit and to win. What I believe is that the whole purpose, I think, of this scientific committee is to motivate the entire membership of, say, 25,000, not only to take part in this wonderful scientific program which Partho and his team prepares, but also to win. Basically, aims to motivate them. Each of them is a potential winner. This is what I believe also, and that is the reason you see a lot of youngsters participate. And you see, I was actually Rohit is here. I was not exposed to Narayan Netralaya for when I took over as chairman scientific committee. But believe me, I learned so much about this transnational research which Rohit and his team keeps doing, and his team won so many awards, virtually every award on the earth. How to win, I think, will be told by the star speakers who are the real winners. But Partha has already told you, but only I'll just tell you these winners, how much they have achieved. You see, each of the winners, which they are 34 in number since 1988. You see, C S Reshmi had donated 40,000 rupees in 87 actually. And then Dr. Babu Rajendran made all these rules of this, what are the rules of this competition. So 40,000 rupees, aim is not 40,000 rupees, aim is to win that coveted CS Reshmi. So although submissions are to the tune of around 430 and 440, but it is only one person who gets, that is 0.2%. So Vishal, Nikhil, Raksha, all these people, believe me, they fall in the category of 0.2% only. This is what, bloats up your heart and, okay, I am the winner. And Partho believes that everybody is a winner, so he has started the Aspire series so that he motivates everybody to win. So, with these few words, I'll throw open this presentations, and believe me, by the end of it, whosoever is listening will get motivated to submit videos for AIOC 2022. Thank you, Partho, for having me here.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. So we come to our first.
I think you should
Yes.
name it Inspire to Aspire.
Inspire to Aspire. That's a great name. Yes. So we come to the AIOS CS Reshmi winner of 2009, Dr. Asim Kumar Seal, who is the medical director of Vivekanand Mission Ashram, Netra Niramayan Niketan, and in West Bengal. And Asim is not only a phenomenal workaholic, but he is also one of the pioneers of great service to the community in this part of the world. He has in fact carried forth the Arvind tradition and shared with the eastern part of India the phenomenal work that can be done and what he is doing now. So over to you, Asim.
Thank you very much, Parthoda. I would like to share my screen, and thank you so much for the opportunity AIOS has given me, and special thanks to Parthoda. Is it visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Should I screen the video first?
Yes, Asim, you have 2.5 minutes for the video,
okay,
and
okay.
Then you can go on to.
I'll open the.
So Asim's talk will be discussed by Dr. Suhas Haldipurkar sir and Dr. Somshila.
So this is the video. I have squeezed it to 2.5 minutes.
You have to play it
For us.
Yeah, you have to play it first and then share screen. No, no.
Okay.
You have to close this.
What you can do is, Anand has the video also.
These unhappy faces.
Don't have for.
These ulcers in the eyes.
Can't see the video. You can't see the
Due to
video.
pedigree injury during threshing.
One minute,
Earlier,
Asim.
grains used to be separate.
It is not visible.
No, it is not
stop
visible.
sharing. Stop sharing.
Kasim, you have to stop the
sharing.
video, click on share screen and share your desktop one, and then you'll be able to do it because you must have shared the other window first.
Okay.
So, Asim, what Anand is saying, from your desktop, you have to share your video.
Okay.
I think best is to play your video, pause it, then share screen, then it will come.
Okay.
Play your
Or,
video, pause
Anand,
it.
can you play it from your backend? Can you play, Anand, can you play Asim's video from your backend?
Dr. Asim did not share us the video, sir. He's starting it now. Dr. Asim, you're sharing a PowerPoint. Don't share your PowerPoint, please.
Okay.
Stop your PowerPoint. Click on share screen. What are you getting? The first option.
First
Desktop
option,
one. Desktop one.
desktop. I am as a screen. Then white.
Click on screen. Click on screen.
Okay.
Niche click on share sound. Optimize your video clip. You did not do that again. Okay, it's okay, but anyway, minimize this. Minimize the PowerPoint. Go to video. Double click it. Yeah.
Yes.
Now it will play.
Now it's playing.
Rice is grown in many states of India. In some places, it is grown thrice a year. Who wants to see these unhappy faces? Can you notice the ulcers in the eyes? These are all due to pedigree injury during threshing. Earlier, grains used to be separated from the plant by heating over hard platform. But the present practice is use of mechanical threshers. Do you notice the speedy movement of the grains? Farmers usually protect their head and face, but leave the eyes unprotected. Watch a small ulcer in this eye. Fortunately, the gentleman has reported early. Plants grown in different seasons are not equal in length, and the risk of eye injury varies. Paddy grain once entered this old lady's eye, but she failed to take it out. She is extremely surprised to see that the paddy grain has started growing inside her eye. Let's see what actually happens in the eye little scientifically. If we scrape the ulcer, put it over a slide and examine under microscope. In many occasions, fungal filaments are seen. This fungus infection is usually treated by this medicine. But see the price. Even after bottles of medication, the ulcer may leave a permanent damage to the cornea. So why not prevent it just by spending a little bit of money? A pair of simple protective glass can protect our eyes at the time of threshing. Let this future farmer grow up with a sense of ocular safety. Spend only 30 rupees and save this.
So now I share my PowerPoint presentation. Is it visible?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, it is.
very much visible, Asim. But do tell us first and foremost why you chose this as a topic and
The-
what made you make this video.
okay, this comes in the slide. Uh, See, one day, one junior doctor, after taking the ward rounds, came to me and said, "Sir, I shall stop eating rice." Why? So during the month of May in 2007, at a time, 19 cases of fungal ulcers were admitted in the hospital, and all had history of paddy grain injury. So that was the triggering thing. That's what we thought we should do something. And earlier in 2000, I only reported in Community Eye Health Journal. This little kid came to us, and in the second attempt, we took out a foreign body, and it was a paddy grain growing inside the eye. So these are the two thought-provoking things that made us to think of this video. And when we are, it's about making a story. So when we are putting our thoughts together, in our service area, it's a fertile rice growing area. I remember in one month of November, sometimes I was very happy that
1 minute remaining.
So my nurse said that, "Doctor, there's a difference in the length of paddy grains, paddy plants." So I'll show you in that what I used in that, and it was an educative video. So we made a public education video. Video always catches the attraction of the people, and people listen to stories. So we had to make a stories, and they love to see the familiar faces. So we all collected the local faces, and for that we had to wait for the harvesting season to come, and we prepared for the photography. We prepared the photographic plan, and we really did wait for around a year to get the actual shots. Of course, it was an amateurish approach, and I used my handycam only, no professional photography, nothing. So whatever I could do. And in between, one lady came with a paddy grain growing in the upper fornix of the eye. So that added to the story. And it was very much motivated by Dr. Richard Litwin from SEVA, who actually, he and his wife actually motivated us to set up an eye bank in rural Bengal. And of course, my friends Indra, Sanjeev, Shubhra, Jayanto, they all helped me, and they actually encouraged me. They put their thoughts to make this video. And after that, what we did, we dubbed it in Bangla, in local language. And we used to visit the farmers cooperative to show this video as a thought-provoking material. And these are the pictures of the farmers group meeting in the farmers cooperative. Every evening they gather, and we started this video and then started discussion about prevention. And we talked to the ladies also. The ladies said that, okay, we understand the protection, but if you can give us the white glass instead of black, so that is liked by the ladies better. And Dr. Samar Basak was very much enthusiastic to take out this effort in different parts of the country. And ultimately, it was published as a case study in Community Eye Health Journal in 2017. And we could see that with extensive health education in surrounding areas, we could reduce the incidence of corneal ulcer in that area. So that was the impact of this video. So we could create this habit in our catchment area to use protective whatever glass they have for while threshing the paddy grain. So I'll, if time permits, then I will show you some of the clips that actually strengthen the video.
10 minutes
Like,
is up.
So,
Yeah.
Asim, you know, the background behind you is blazing. It's blazing sun. So
Yeah.
it's a wonderful background that you have chosen. And thanks to you for sharing your thoughts and the video clip. And now we really, I had seen the video while you had played it in the CS Reshmi, and it was remarkable, remarkable. The whole video, the passion behind the video, I think was remarkable. So over to Dr. Swahas Haldipurkar sir and to Somshila for the discussion.
Thank you, Dr. Partha. So, Dr. Haldipurkar, what are your comments or your thoughts after seeing this brilliant presentation and idea of what video we should present for the Reshmi Award?
Yeah, Partho, congratulations for this initiative. It's an extremely important initiative in a sense that today the ones who are going to watch this will realize, because over the years when we do selection of films for these awards, we realize that the general perception among all the participants is to go in for the most difficult, most intricate, or some kind of a difficult surgery, and then we start painting it and then present it. But then if you look at this, it's a glaring example of just common day-to-day events that have been picked up and a story is created. All of us in our practice do have such things happening, but it's just that we are not open to it. Now, if you are really, this course will tell us that if you can keep your eyes and mind open and pick up these simple events and create a story, that also can stand to be one of those, films that will be selected. It's a film that has an excellent social impact and take-home message. Very simple one, very simple concept. Congratulations, Dr. Asif. Although this was done in 2009, it still has that general appeal. So congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Still, we use this video whenever we conduct any eye donation motivation meeting. So it becomes the thought-provoking film for the meeting.
Congratulations, Dr. Sil. I think that it's sort of to recapitulate what Dr. Haldipurkar has said. So it's not a very complicated idea. That the message from what we see about your brilliant video is that it's not a complicated idea that you need to have. It's a simple, basic, everyday idea of the general patient that comes to the clinic. What is it that is affecting them the most? So, and then using the video, not just to help you win an award, but also using it for social messaging across the community and relevant throughout the years. So it's more than 15 years that it still holds its relevance right from the day that it was made. And the last message that I get is that you don't need to have complex gimmickry, flashing visuals or something like that, a lot of cartoons and things like that. You can have something very simplistic also, and it can be as powerful as what you've shown us. So thank you for that. Back to you, Dr. Biswas. You're muted, Dr. Biswas.
I think I just want to make a comment on this, and I think the most important thing is identifying a new risk factor, because that gives you a preventive strategy. Of course, when the disease happens, then cure, that's a different thing. But I think the highlight of this video was that it has added a new risk factor, which can be prevented. And of course, the social message that goes along with it touches more millions of people as compared to just the ophthalmic community. I think, that is really very important.
Quite true, Namrata. One thing that, I still remembered from this video is that paddy grain growth inside the eye. That I still remembered from that 2009 video, Asim. So I think each video or each movie in itself has that one target scene which just bolts you, and you remember that. I remember Dr. Vasavada's video, that award-winning video. What is that target scene? That wool that was coming out from as a vitreous.
I remember, yeah.
So everybody remembers. So that is that one target scene which makes a video worth remembering. So let us come to...
Yes, before we go to the next one by Dr. Deepak, you see, yes, AIOS has a huge responsibility towards the public. We can't just, talk amongst ourselves and browbeat the Wasim ne video jeet liya. What I would suggest is Namrata should write to the this entertainment industry that in all the movie halls, one line should be written: "Wear this, save eyes, save eyes." Yeah, this should be an advocacy from the All India Ophthalmic Surgeon Group. That should definitely be done.
Yes, sir.
I think
Very,
we
very good thought, sir. Very good thought, sir.
Otherwise, these we keep winning these. That's okay. But please, Namrata, इसको थोड़ा
yes,
कर लो.
yes, sir. Sure, sir.
So we come to the next C S Reshmi winner 2020. No, sorry, I think yes, 2020, and that was Dr. Deepak Megur, consultant at Megur Care Center, and the head of cataract and glaucoma department. Deepak, please.
Thank you, Partha sir, for the opportunity. This is a brilliant idea of yours which you conceived. I need sharing permission, screen sharing permission. Yes, I got it. So thank you for the opportunity, and I will start by sharing my the small film for which it was awarded. I'm injecting OVD inside the eye. It's the usual amount, but I witnessed something very rare. I could see this posterior capsule rupture happening during OVD injection into the antechamber even before the antecapsule was punctured. Well, I had not seen anything like this in my career. This was weird, and I got hold of 3 more instances of weird spontaneous posterior capsule ruptures happening in polar cataracts. In all these eyes, there is no contact of any instrument with the posterior capsule, but still a posterior capsule tear happened. Now, what caused the posterior capsule tear in all these eyes? There is no direct contact of posterior capsule with any of the instruments. Well, let's try to solve the puzzle. So, what is the common link in all these 4 cases, apart from being postipolar cataracts? Well, 3 out of the 4 patients were young, less than 30 years, and 2 out of them were myopes. These characters, young patients and myopic eyes, lead us to the common link, which is scleral rigidity. To be precise, all these eyes had low scleral rigidity. So what's the big deal about this? When we go back and analyze, a raised infusion pressure is the reason why the pathological posterior capsule split wide open. However, similar phenomenon of spontaneous posterior capsule rupture is uncommon in eyes with normal scleral rigidity. In eyes with low scleral rigidity, the sclera can stretch a little bit, which allows more fluid or OVD to accumulate in the eye, which eventually will raise the pressure inside the chamber, and the weak posterior capsule just gives way. So, what can we do in such a scenario? Well, in all eyes with postipolar cataract, apart from all the standard prescribed precautions taken during surgery, one additional precaution needs to be taken. That would be just to decrease the infusion pressure at every stage in the surgery, from the time the OVD is injected into the eyes to the time the side ports are hydrated. In short, we need to be working on a principle of low flow, low pressure surgery. It's a simple philosophy. We tried the same principle of low flow, low pressure surgery in the next 8 consecutive eyes of postipolar cataract in patients younger than 40 years. The moral of the story is short. More is not always good. Traditionally, we are all taught to be so obsessive of maintaining a deep chamber during surgery to avoid surge. We increase the bottle height, use pressurized infusion, use OVDs to pressurize the eye, but we can clearly see that this can be counterproductive in a select group of patients. So in these postipolar cataract patients with low scleral rigidity, I would say less is more. Less infusion, less pressure inside the eye at every stage, and that's the way to go. To conclude, low flow, low pressure surgery reduces the incidence of spontaneous posterior capsule rupture in these vulnerable eyes. So the next time, please do watch the bottle height. Thank you so much. That was the small glimpse of the film. Let me go back to my presentation. Okay. So what was my research question for this? What was the triggering factor? Well, obviously, I just wanted to ask the question, what was the reason for this spontaneous ruptures in young patients?
with PCC, because there is a report which suggests that the incidence is definitely much more higher in younger patients compared to the slightly older patients with post-polar cataract, even after taking all the standard prescribed precautions. And why did I choose the subject? Because obviously I did not know the answer until this case happened. And this case was a triggering factor for me. It happened about in 2017, and I had not seen anything like this. The anterior capsule is still not punctured, and I could see the posterior capsule open in front of me. And this was something extremely new for me. I had never seen anything being presented by anywhere. So I just had to go back and deep and just into my library, and I could find out. I just found out my videos for the last 10 years and try to search for similar complications. And documenting was the main reason why I could be successful in making this film, because I could get hold of 4 or 5 similar instances or cases of post-polar cataracts in young, and that could be presented, and that could be told in a story. And why did you conceive of a video presentation? Well, obviously, when you see things, they are the best evidence one can have of an incident. No matter how much you can write, unless and until it is shown, it really will not be appreciated by the audience. They don't get it at all. So, luckily for me, I had all of them. Why the abstract? Why I did not conceive any other form of presentation? The fact was, I did submit as a free paper also. It did not get selected in the same conference. So that was the reason why it did not go into the papers, but it went into the videos, because obviously when the evaluators read the abstract, they would not get the idea, but the evaluators who saw the video probably thought it was worth to transfer, to get into the next round. And why did you conceive a video presentation? Obviously, films are my forte, so that was an easy answer for me. And what are the ingredients in your video to highlight your results? Well, obviously it was easy because documentation was the key. I had the videos which were clear of every event, of all the 5-6 cases which I had. And this was a compelling reason why, the incident could not be overlooked, and also the reason can be analyzed quite well. So having the videos, all the 4 of them, all the 5-6 videos, and which were quite clear, and we could visualize the event very well. That was the reason why I thought this was my single USP for the presentation. So the documentation was the key, I should say. These were rare footages. I wouldn't see any of the spontaneous ruptures in many videos. So what cinematography did you use to create the wow factor? Well, actually nothing. The footage of the incident itself was very clear. It was quite sharp and well focused, and it was self-explanatory. So that was the biggest forte for my video.
6 minutes are up.
So any special effects? Well, obviously I did not use any special effects absolutely, except for the background sound. I used some simple line animation which were just made at home using some regular software. So there's no fancy animation was done. A mentor for this particular project, it was done because I'm a single practitioner here, but obviously a lot of inspiration has come, and to this I dedicate this video to all my teachers who have inspired me. And one of my teachers or inspiration is here, Dr. Suhas, who has been an inspiring force for me. I always watched his videos with all my eyes and ears open. So I have a lot of the inspiration, it comes from all the teachers. So that was it. And because it's an amateurish video, we all do ourselves. I did have one assistant who could gather all the videos for me. Publication, not yet, it's in the pipeline. So that should be it. Thank you. And I will conclude by saying, as Dr. Partha said, it's just tough to get it to the next round. So winning it is really tough. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Deepak. Excellent. I think all of us remember that capsule opening up. Whoever has seen that video, the capsule opening up because of the viscoelastic, that is that hitting scene. And of course, your music was par excellence, the glass breaking, that sound, but you changed it to the softer tones when you took up the scientific part. and cinematography. Of course, you have an excellent video recording system. So over to Dr. Rohit Shetty and to Dr. Krishna Prasad Kudlu for your discussion.
Thank you, Dr. Partha sir. In fact, it's a proud moment for all of us. Always Deepak presents a video. I think any YouTube video, if you want to see a fantastic videos, then first click you will get Deepak only. In memory that I think he's a member of our Karnataka Ophthalmic Society also, we are having a exclusive video award in his father's name. That is the reason video means Karnataka or everywhere in India, Deepak Mekur. And the one take home message for me, especially in this presentation, especially when how he is managing that PPC. Probably even it's a learning curve for all of us. How he has showed, I think that gives you more and more messages. Not only this, I think every case he has got such a fantastic video. I think Deepak has to be in front most of the teaching sessions. Thank you.
Thank you, JP. Rohit, for your very, very expert comments. Rohit is one architecture in India who does phenomenal work to all his team. Fantastic, Rohit. Please come.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Deepak, sir, for the wonderful video. More than the video, what I liked is you covered all the points about how to win C S Reshmi Award. I don't want to waste my time on going through all that part. Beautifully explained about one most important point is which Dr. Asim and Dr. Deepak both said. You don't have to have a fancy production to win a video. You know, you can have your cell phone can capture something, or if you focus it well, you can capture it. So I'm saying this because I always use this line that your mistakes are your best teachers. I'm not saying we have made mistakes, but in the beginning of our submission, maybe 10, 12 years back, we used to spend a lot of stuff on gizmo stuff, on videos with, and then you used to wonder why nobody cares. It's because the concepts are poor, but your gizmo is great. Nobody gives marks for gizmo. Everything is given for the content. And then we started realizing that as we keep making it very focused, and I learned this from Ronaldo once. We were sitting and having dinner, and he's been a judge for more than 20 years in all kinds of film festivals. He said nobody likes to look at a complex one. At the end of 7 minutes, you don't know what you looked at. They want to know how I can go back and take it to my practice. And I think Dr. Deepak explained it beautifully, that something which can be used by somebody who's practicing in, say, Dr. Maipal sir, or somebody who's going to practice tomorrow with the new phaco machine. And that, I think, is the essence of CS Reshmi. That can you do that immediately in your practice? So after that, we made a video on just how to reduce pain by soaking a bandage contact lens in an AccuVeil. This video has won ESCRS, APSCRS, and ASCRS, all three in the same year. And then I realized we thought that making a fancy gene therapy would work. It never worked. So ultimately, we have to remember, whoever is listening, is your video has to be immediately translated to practice. The faster it translates to practice, the better it's the video, and that's the impact. And that is the take-home point of both the thing. The first one was a glass. Tomorrow morning, if I see somebody from the fields, I said, wear a glass, immediate over. And Dr. Deepak, he explained it beautifully about the bottle height. That's over, that's it. You don't need anything else. And the second point is, for all the winners, past, present, and future, please make sure that you present and publish it. Because Dr. Deepak sir, your video is circulated everywhere, but I'll not be surprised if somebody from Israel just puts up some cases and he publishes it without your knowledge. And it's going to happen. It's happened with us. And at the end of it, nobody gives credit. And videos, however big your video is, I've had people taking my ideas and publishing it because I just put it on the air. I was just short by 3 weeks. In 3 weeks, somebody had went retrospectively and he published it, and you lost it. So before you put up any good video on your YouTube, please put an attempt to publish. And that is one of the major drawbacks of an Indian science today, is we are very good in sharing and we are very poor in recording what we want to share. We don't patent our work. We don't we don't trademark our logos. We don't do anything. We just are in always this enthusiasm to teach. I'm sure Dr. Suhas Aldipukar says so many things would have been people must have published. This particular paper, sir, you should publish in the next 1 month. And
5 minutes is up.
and I think that's my take home point. Sorry to take up more time, but I feel that it is most important that you publish it.
So I think,
Thank you
Partha,
very much for it.
I completely agree with this. I'll also give one example. A movie which won an APCRS, ESCRS, AAO Best of Show, ESCRS, and when we sent it for publication, it went for review, and 2 months later, it got rejected from JCRS. 2 months later, there was a full-fledged publication on the same movie. And then we had to struggle for the next 12 months and get it published, somewhere in not so good journal, but only in a journal which was indexed in the PubMed, so that you feel cheated that you've got so many awards, and at the end of the day, it is not seen the day of the publication life. So I think I completely agree with Rohit. Very, very important message.
Really, yes, quite true, quite true. So Maipal sir is also here, and welcome, sir.
Thank you.
So you are the next discussant for the next talk that we have, and that's by Nishikant Borse, who won the CS Reshmi in 2018. And Nishikant is Senior Vitreoretina Consultant at Insight Eye Clinic in Mumbai. And a phenomenal surgeon, a wonderful friend. Nishikant, all over to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Partha. I'll just try to share my screen. Oops. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, yes, please.
Okay, so I would like to just discuss my journey to CS Reshmi Award, and I'm thankful to AIOC and Dr. Partha for giving me this opportunity. So, 1 minute. Why isn't it going ahead? I'm sorry, it's not.
Click on the presentation.
Forward. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Okay, so the beginning is always a concept, and I had a concept that why can't we manage CRO surgically? And if it is to be managed surgically, how and what are the merits? And it really took me 8 years to bring it up to the level that I could present it. Now, why did I choose it as a video is because the best way to demonstrate a surgical concept is the video of the surgery itself. And my video actually I made because I was so passionate about it. I wanted to demonstrate the concept that you can surgically manage a CRO. Actually, it was not made to win awards. Now, my work with CRO started when I found that the 4 consecutive cases that I got of CRO, I could not manage them well. We lost the vision in that eye despite best of my efforts. I looked up the literature, it really didn't help. And I always saw that the minute you induce a hypotony, the circulation does come back, but once the IOP grows back, the CRO sets in again. Then I was constantly thinking of ways in which I could prolong the hypotony, and then I thought whether a vitrectomy would work. And then came my first case. There was a case who had a CRO, and she had a funny sort of a glial tissue on top of the optic disc, and I thought maybe that is the reason for that. And this was my first case in which I went ahead and I did a vitrectomy and I removed the glial band. And after I removed the glial band, I decided to just massage the artery a bit. And to my surprise, what I found that the perfusion had got restored and this patient really recovered well. Now you can imagine, this is a video of about 11 years old. So it's not a very good video quality, but then I realized that if I have to present it, I really need to upgrade into a better video. Then over a period of time, I started evolving my surgery. I spoke to Dr. Gopal from Shankar Netrala and he said, don't just jump into it. Let the surgery evolve and you will realize what is the correct thing to do. I started observing that the glial tissue is very uncommon, the one that I saw in the first case, but the most common was no PVD in each of the cases of CRO I saw. And then I evolved it into a surgery where there is a hypotony, you do a disc massage, dissection, you do an arterial shizotomy, massage, and you even have to nick the CRA if you find a presence of an embolus, which is directly on that. And this is how I began my journey to the video. Now, every person who tries to sell a concept or give a concept should be ready for failures or rejection. My first attempt, I sent it to AO straight off because I was so overexcited and got totally rejected. Then I went and presented it at the Flow Retina. It was not well accepted, but our local retina colleagues were really helpful and they gave me a lot of encouragement and it was very well received. And then I started understanding that to sell a concept, your video has to be made into a beautiful bouquet. The bouquet does not have to be fancy, but it has to have a particular story. You have to have a good storyline, which should be short and a precise story. It should have an introduction, a main body, and a conclusion, and build a gradual storyline with a good flow, which is not abrupt. Of course, because you're presenting a surgical video, your good video quality has to be fantastic. And you should write the dialogues for each part of the video and time it well exactly when it is happening with the video. Don't be afraid to use another person's voice if your voice is not suited. I felt my voice was not good, so I used my wife's voice. And I recorded in the middle of the night to get silence in Mumbai. So at 2 o'clock in the night, we recorded this particular video. Please give emphasis on audio. They should complement your commentary and not they bury each other. You select a royalty-free music to avoid legal issues. The spoken audio should match with your theme music, and the theme should have a crescendo and a diminuendo. It should not be abrupt. The last thing is the points to remember is you can easily make your own videos on software like iMovie, Wondershare, Filmora, etc. But don't be afraid to take professional areas where you want to highlight your concept and your video is not going well. Learn the software well before you start editing. Good editing is the key for a successful video. And you can adjust the speed of the video, contrast, etc. very easily. And please crop off unnecessary field, especially in VR. We get people who have a big screen and a very small area where the surgery is happening. So learn to crop it off so that you get a perfect thing. Lastly, the common lethal mistake is either too long or very too short a video. Using scenes from movies which are having a totally disconnect. They use a very longer clip from movie that gives rise to copyright issues. Displaying the patient's identity in clinical photographs. I was one of the judge for the last time C S Reshmi, so I noticed these were the errors that people made. Either your audio can be too loud or too soft, which you can't hear. So you have to just take care of all these things to get in your point of your video. And please don't give a very long introduction or statistics which take away their attention from the main concept. Having said that, let me just give the preview, a short preview of my movie.
I think the audio is missing. Audio is not there.
Can
1
you hear
minute
it?
remaining.
The audio is not coming.
No, we can't hear it.
The audio
You
is
have
not.
to stop sharing and then you have to share sound also in Zoom.
Is my video audio not visible?
Audio is
Was it
not.
not audible?
Video can be seen.
The audio
Can
is
I
not
request
visible.
No, Nishikant, you stop sharing first.
Yes,
Then
stop sharing first, then share again. Share your video with shared
then
sound.
go to the left side. There will be a button.
Okay.
Then you enable that.
Okay, I will stop sharing first and
Then you click on this share screen. And on the
okay,
left side,
I'll
you
do
will
that.
see a audio button. And वहाँ पे enable करना. Could you see on the left side?
Yeah, I'm just trying it, sir. Sorry about that. Just give me a minute. Okay. Can you hear it now?
No, Nishikant.
No audio.
Can't hear.
Anand, can you play it from the back end? Anand?
Don't have the copy, sir.
Okay.
Is it audible?
No, audible.
The audio is not there.
Video is seen.
The video we can see.
Can
This
you
could be
can we
because the audio would be going to the other channel. You'll have to do a little bit of juggling in that. You're using a Mac. On the top right, you see the speaker. Click on the speaker and see where it is playing output. What is the output?
I'll make it
Yeah,
internal.
not that.
I
If
think
you can
it's
click on the
okay. We
speaker
can just see
icon.
the video also. It's all right.
Okay, can you now? I think it will come.
No luck, no luck.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I really don't know why.
But that's all right.
Can
I
we?
think
I've
doing
sent
well.
the video. Can we present it from there?
Let's see the video, Partha.
Yeah, sir.
Or can we
Nishikant, let us.
play it from? I had sent it to Mr. Sethi yesterday.
Just a second, sir.
Okay. So in between, can I request Dr. Maipal sir and Parikshit to start the discussion, and once Anand is ready, we can see the video.
Without seeing the video.
Well, we have seen the.
There were very important points, I think, which Dr. Nishikant mentioned. Some of the points were very good.
Maipal sir?
Okay. First of all, I'll wish to thank Dr. Nishikant for bringing out some fantastic points, and I think carrying on from where Rohit left, it is very, very important not to give a garbled message in the sense that if you want, at times people want to put too much into a small little thing. The take-home message gets lost. And that is exactly what Dr. Borse is trying to make out, that maybe we want to put, because it's a video competition and the statistics, etc., like he's saying, need not take a major part. That should be in the publication where you can give statistics, etc. And the other important things that he has made out is the field of view, which is very, very important. If you don't have a proper magnification, like in life stages, center, etc. So similarly, when you are making a particular video, the contrast should be good, the illumination should be good, and the point of focus should actually be highlighted, and that is something very, very important. Otherwise, you just keep meandering around here and there, and everything is there. The message actually gets lost. So what he has tried to actually tell is that you need to keep a focus, and in the focus he has said keep the focus on the preparation, keep the focus on maybe even using software, etc. But you need to master whatever you are going to use for the video, the editing, the superscript, or whatever you want to do. And also he has given very important points as regards the audio, as that it should not be too loud. At times people want to bring in movies, etc., as he's saying, which may or may not add any value to the whole thing. So scientific content with a clear-cut message, with the proper focus on what you are trying to show and what you are going to pass on as the take-home message. I think that is something very, very great that he has pointed out. Simple points, but as he said also as a judge, that you should not show the photograph of a patient, etc. You should maintain the secrecy, because these can land people in trouble subsequently. So that is again something very important, that you need to follow the because nowadays when you are writing a paper, you have to say that it has been approved by the ethics committee, etc. I think so. Similar kind of ethics need also to be followed for making the video presentations. Overall, I think he has given a fantastic take-home presentation for the people who are aspiring to make great videos. And as they say, a picture or a video says much more than what you are writing in a text. So that is something very, very important, that it hits you right in the face, like in the posterior polar cataract is shown, and similarly, like he's talking about CRAO, the message is very clear that this is a methodology where you need a reduction in the intraocular pressure on a long-term basis, and if there is, say, a gliosis, etc., that needs to be moved. So thank you very much, Dr. Borse, for sharing these details with the people who are listening.
Thank you, Maipal sir. You said it all. If I may just add a point, Dr. Borse is, of course, our senior from Nashik and Maharashtra. And one thing is that all the three presenters which have shown so far, they had a small storyline for their small movie or a video, and they stuck to it, and it was neither too long or too short, as Dr. Borse said. And again, Dr. Nishikant now is in his own practice, so you don't have to be a particularly a big institution person, to make a video. I think that's the message that he has given. Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving.
Thank you very much, Parikshit. Parikshit, we were all taken by the newness of the concept. Nishikant's video had that fantastic concept which he was trying to drive in, which is so difficult at times. And as he very correctly said, the international faculty or the judges were not at all happy with it, and he did not win prizes. But it was in India that people thought, yes, this is a concept. But again, Nishikant, this is something that goes into publication, does it not?
Yes, I mean,
Sir,
you
it's
have to
already
have
been
a longer
accepted
series.
and it's going to be published within a month. So I'm happy
Wow.
to share that.
Wow. Wow.
Lalit sir, any-
I wanted to highlight, actually, unfortunately, the audio didn't come in, but another important point of the audio, which you have worked very hard on this video, is the crescendo and how, it should go down towards the end of the story. And many a times people end the audio abruptly, and that actually takes away the fun of watching the movie. So that is something else that people have to get into. Audio is very important, and you have to really the emotions go with audio. That's what I would say.
Quite true.
Do you
Yes.
want to get the backup of the video, Partha?
Anand, could you retrieve the backup?
Sir, we don't have the video with us.
Oh, I see.
At the back end.
I had sent it to you yesterday on Dropbox, Anand, with a link.
I did not get the link. I just checked right now. So.
Okay, fine. What we will do is we'll go on with Prabhakar next, and in between, if Anand can come up with the video, we'll see the video definitely.
You can send it again.
I will mail it to him again right away.
If you can mail it to me right now as a WeTransfer link, I'll be able to download it. Just do a WeTransfer.
I will do that right away.
Thank you so much. I'll
do that. Yeah.
We'll definitely see Nishikant's video because his wife's voice is there, I'm sure, huh? Nishikant?
Yeah, it is.
So we have the C S Reshmi winner of 2019, Dr. Prabhakar, and he is of Head Clinical Services at Agarwal's Eye Hospital, Tirupati. So Prabhakar, warm welcome to you, and a young man, a dynamic person, and let's see what made you win this award.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the opportunity, sir. Yeah, good evening, everyone. And my video was on Ring of Power. So this was in-house made novel intro of keratoscope to prevent suture-induced astigmatism in keratoplasty. And this is a small clip of my video.
Are you sharing your audio? Again, there is no audio in this, Prabhakar.
There is no audio, ma'am?
No audio.
Okay. We can't hear your audio.
Can you go back and share once again?
Share your audio also.
When you click share, you have to click on share sound and share optimize the video clip. There are 2 check marks you have to do when you click on share screen. Stop sharing.
Best would be Anand can share the video.
Yeah. Share sound. Yes. I'm doing that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it heard now?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Make it on
full screen. Can you make it full screen?
Yes.
Make it on full screen.
Yes.
Keratoplasty that I did, it went well. I was very happy. But the patient was not happy because of post-op astigmatism. So I was stumped. What to do? How to deal with this? How could I...
So what we need to do is we need to design a new one which approximately gives a 4 mm circle on the cornea. That should be on a ring, and it should be a width of around 0.5 millimeters, and when you are suturing, it should help us by continuous display. It should be continuously displayed during the suturing also, so that we can adjust the exact tension while watching the ring. That is the basic idea.
We needed an illuminated ring of diameter 21.3 centimeters.
We went online and bought a simple flexible LED strip and had our biomechanical engineer attach it to our microscope. The device does not cause obstruction in the surgical field. It provides ring illumination with white light, avoiding distracting shadows. A circular mire is obtained by tightening the sutures at the long axis of the oval. Here, the oval mire suggests that a tight suture is required at 1 o'clock. As the suture is tightened at 1 o'clock, the oval mire becomes circular.
One minute remaining.
So coming to the research question, our idea was to build a cost-effective device to prevent keratoplasty-related astigmatism. And our idea was to make a video to take the audience through the process of conception of the idea, making the device, its efficiency, and highlight its use in a couple of surgical videos. And why this subject? Keratoplasty and related astigmatism is one of the universal problems where we do a really good keratoplasty with equidistant sutures, but this is something which doesn't give patients a very good vision, and it is faced by both the freshers to the senior surgeons, and this is one area which has scope for showing the surgical videos. Coming to the conception of the video, actual idea was to just present it for 1 minute in Kerakant Jam. As we started doing it, we saw the scope in it, and so we needed to show how the present keratoscopes doesn't serve the purpose, and idea to make a new keratoscope, materials needed, how to use it, and the result in the surgical critical cases. The ingredients in my video are, this is one problem that everyone can connect to, and there is an innovation involved in this, and there is a scope for surgical videos that can be shown, and it can be made colorful because it can show a lot of pentacams and street lamp pictures. And the audio, the soundtrack we have selected, and we have synced it very nicely with what is happening with the video. And I have added 2 interesting surgical videos which are new and not commonly seen, and it has a good ending. Cinematography and the wow factor, I would say the surgical video clarity is the most important thing. The first thing is you have to have a good camera, and the settings you have to put it to right exposure, balance, warm balance, everything you have to go through that. And the most important part is a good focusing. What happens is while doing important steps, we tend to forget on focusing the right parts where the camera keeps focusing on speculum or drapes or anything. You have to take couple of seconds off and focus it in the right area, and you have to include right topographies and nice street lamp images. And background music, I would say, is one of the important things where you have to sync it with what's happening in the video, and it should not be very low or it should not be very high, and it should have proper ups and downs. My mentor and the main innovator for this device is Dr. J.K. Reddy, and contributors of Dr. Ameya, Dr. Neeraj, and Dr. Shadab, who are my co-fellows. And the main take-home message that I can give it to aspirants who are fellows and all, you have to stay hungry, you have to keep your eyes wide open, and you have to keep looking for interesting material. And as soon as you come across, you have to immediately store it. Always carry a pen drive. Whenever you get a chance, just put it in the pen drive. When you want it later on, you won't find it. And when you decided on some concept, you have to make a script and you have to tell it like a story. And you have to discuss with the mentor and you have to discuss with the colleagues. They are the best people who can make it much better and better, giving you the ideas. And as you share it with the mentor, as new material comes up, he will store it and he will share it with you. That is the most important thing. And infrastructure, for making these videos, you don't need any high-end systems. All you need is a basic laptop, the i5 processor and basic graphics card. And one of the best apps we can use is Corel Video Studio. And you have to keep attending video competitions and film festivals so that you can update what's happening, what are the trends, how the people are using sounds, and what is the clarity, and all those things. And the most important thing, there should be a scientific content. There should be a clear message given to the audience, and the content that you should show should be reflected clinically in the clinical practice. So I think that is one of the most important things. And I have to thank my boss, Dr. J.K. Reddy, my institute, Shankar Eye Foundation, and AIOS for giving us such a great platform to show our skills and for everything, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhakar. We cannot forget these memorable videos, and your theme was excellent, the power of the ring. And thank you for saying that lovely word, that lovely sentence, stay hungry, stay foolish. Right?
Yes,
so over to Namrata and Sonu for the discussion.
I think it was a great video, Prabhakar, a very simple concept, and you made it so easy and you made it possible. Astigmatism is still the big bug in keratoplasty, and despite a seemingly clear graph, the patient still may not see. And then this really helps you because intraoperatively you can tackle it. I think all diagnostics are now getting integrated into the operating microscope, whether it is a OCT or it is a keratoscope, so that, intraoperatively only those problems are tackled. And Lumera came up with this, which had keratoscope inside, and it is so expensive. And yours, doesn't involve much expense. So really congratulations to you and Dr. J.K. Reddy and your entire team for that. That was really good. As far as the award-winning films is concerned, I would just like to give you a couple of points. One is that there's something I learned from Professor Dada when I was a pool officer, and that was don't make a side port also until your recorder is on, because you never know what will happen. And the prime example was Dr. Deepak Megur, who had, spontaneous ruptures. So you don't expect at that time what will happen. So even I don't make until the recorder is on, I will not make my side port. Two is when you make that brilliant movie, you can submit it not only for C S Reshmi, you can submit it throughout the year. So one movie you make and you submit it to AIOS. I'm telling you in the order that you have to submit: APO, ASCRS, ESCRS, APCRS, American Academy of Ophthalmology, and RANSCO, which is in November. So you start from February, you go till November, and the whole year you are allowed to submit that movie. So you can win. Our one movie has won 8 awards, and that movie was rejected in C S Reshmi. So that thing, I think I'm not going to this thing. So you never know. You may not get C S Reshmi. You may get some other thing. So once you put your effort, your stamp on it, it has to see the light of the day somewhere. Some very good points by Dr. Nishikant Bose. Always do the audio, always write the script before you do the video. If your voice is not good, communication is the key to success. The person who is doing the surgery is going to be same everywhere, whether it's from Africa, America, Europe, India, anywhere, even in India. But conveying communication of what you want to convey is very important. That should be so. If somebody cannot speak, it is always good to borrow a good, person who can speak. So at least the communication is there. And of course, the last thing that I want to say is that your video has to move very fast. It cannot be slow. You've seen NDTV, the visuals come from here, 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 everywhere. So it has to move something like that. And every spoken sentence should have a visual to it, maybe 2 visuals to it, or maybe 3 visuals to it. So I think, that is the crux and very beautifully put in all the videos we saw today. So thank you, Partha, for this.
Thank you very much, Namrata.
Thank you.
Before we come to Sonu, Rohit has to leave. So I would like to take Rohit's last comments before he leaves the webinar. He has another meeting lined up. Rohit, please.
I don't want to add what ma'am has said. She's explained everything. But I want to take from what she left at one point of time about some videos not getting, even the good videos not getting through in C S Reshmi. One thing from your office you can do is, like how you're done for Rangachari now, the past winners needs to be there as the judges, because sometimes it's very embarrassing. Video wins best of best at AO, and here it's not even selected in 1 in 10. See, what happens is it loses the complete interest in people submitting for C S Reshmi. I echo the thoughts of lots of people, including myself. And so it is very important, ma'am.
Including myself.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, so no, I mean, winning and losing is part and parcel of this game. But what I feel is, if you lose it, you lose to a worthy competitor. And if you lose to an unworthy competitor, that means that there was something not right. So that is one take-home point. And the second take-home point is, I don't know how feasible it is, but I've been an examiner of FRCS for the last few years. One thing is, if a candidate fails, you have a right to ask the examiners why that person has failed in the top 10. So every single candidate, you have to document every single time about what was the necessity. This is not about trying to put down somebody. It's about trying to improvise your thing. So I feel one way to go forward in our society, especially with these videos, is having these people, the selected 10 or 20 who go to the top finals, given an idea about what was the thing, what the judges did not like, so that they can improvise it rather than being sulking about it. See, this is very, very, I feel, it brings in a lot of positivity, because people know what was not up to the mark in their videos. And I don't know, I mean, it may be logistically different, but this is my suggestion. And the most important suggestion is the past winners, if you encourage them to be the judge, they will then exactly, the group here will exactly know what you need to be in a C S Reshmi award. Thank you for giving me this chance, sir.
Rohit, because you see in three-paper session, I did away with the president-elect and vice president. I did away with all these things, and all the Rangachari judges were past Rangachari winners only. And same thing should happen in Reshmi also, because they can realize the pain and the usefulness of audio, video, mixing, cinematography, all these things. Because sitting that president and vice president, they cannot understand. And I 100% agree with you on this, that all these previous winners have to be on the judges. Maybe we can have chronological order from the top. That I think we can take a call.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Thank you. I mean, this is important learning for us also. And I think you have already set the trend, Lalit sir, for the Rangachari judges to be the
I have
judges.
a couple of more suggestions which I'll give it.
You could have international people also as judging your, sessions, because then that takes away considerable amount of bias which may be there. So that was also one thought process which, I think Rohit was also discussing, and that could also be one of the things.
Right.
Or C S Reshmi award winners, or any anybody, who's won international awards also could be one of the judges.
Also, one international was included. We tried to include in the Rangachari session also, but वो timing थोड़ा issue होता है unless you tell them beforehand there all this. But this is a wonderful idea. I agree. Having an international person is, but we did have.
We had for the talent search, for the final talent search, we had all the international judges. So
that
bias was not there at all.
See, there is no bias, but then other people should also be made to believe that there is no bias. And if you do have your
homework, now let's do our homework. What Rohit has said, it does make sense. We should include all these things.
Right. I think to conclude this, congratulations, Prabhakar. And one very important point that I would like to highlight is that record to all our viewers, record all your surgeries. You never know when you are going to have any surprise. So all these years that I have been presenting in Washer Symposium, what I have learned is that all your videos should be message giving. I think that is very important. The video need not to be very zazzy, but at least it should carry some message. And for me, the right investment for all the youngsters would be a good quality microscope and an excellent camera hooked on it. I think that would translate into an excellent video presentation. So thank you very much, Prabhakar. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sonu. We'll go over to our next presenter. And so this is, of course, Dr. Raksha Rao. And Raksha is consultant orbit oculoplasty and ocular oncology at Narayan Netralaya, Bangalore. So Raksha was the winner of 2016. So over to Raksha. Raksha, even with oculoplasty, you have won the C S Reshmi. So subspecialty, absolutely no bar.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that introduction. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing my screen now. Okay, so I'm going to be playing this video. This is the video that won the C S Reshmi Award in 2016 Kolkata.
No sound, Raksha. Sound is not there, Raksha.
Raksha, can you check the sound?
Is there no sound?
No sound.
Not audible. Raksha, do you want to, just play it once again?
Yeah, I'll just do that. Maybe I can just play direct from the file instead
you
of.
You have the video in your laptop, then I think play it directly.
Is the sound there now?
No,
it is not there. You have to stop sharing. You have to stop sharing, Dr. Raksha.
Okay.
And then when you share, there is an option of share sound and optimizer audio clip. Click on that and then click on screen 1. So whatever is there on the screen, it will get displayed. Try it, please.
Okay, I just have one option, share screen.
And when you share screen, do you see any 2 check marks on your bottom?
Unfortunately, no. No, it's just one option, share.
Yeah, when you click share,
okay, yeah, share sound.
The window
and,
opens
okay,
up.
Yeah. I think I got
it.
Will open up? Yeah, share.
Tumor of the left orbit in a 39-year-old patient.
Is this better?
Yes.
Okay.
Raksha, it's fine.
Perfect.
Inferior rectus muscle is stacked with photocyl suture. Lateral canthotomy and inferior cantholysis are done to provide improved exposure of the orbit. 3 photocyl traction sutures are passed through the lower eyelid for traction during the surgery. A fornical conjunctival incision is made immediately below the inferior border of the tarsus, beginning just below and lateral to the punctum and extending to the lateral canthus. A plane of dissection is created anterior to the orbital septum after incising the orbicularis. Dissection is continued posterior to the muscle while recessing the septum to approach the inferior orbital margin. Periostal incision is made immediately below the inferior orbital rim and relaxing incisions given at either end. perpendicular to the horizontal incision. The periosteum is separated from the bone and subperiosteal orbital space is approached. Dissection is limited so as to not damage the infraorbital nerve and the inferior orbital fissure contents. After adequate separation, an incision is made in the periosteum to enter the intraconal space, causing fat prolapse. Fat is gently separated to locate the intraconal tumor, in our case, a cavernous hemangioma. Cryoprobe assisted delivery of the tumor is done with gentle separation of any adherent tissue around the lesion. Hemostasis is achieved and conjunctiva closed with interrupted sutures with 6-vicryl without suturing the periosteum. Lateral canthotomy is repaired with 6-vicryl suture. Minimally invasive and safe approach to extra and intraconal orbital tumors. Our patient had a quick post-operative recovery with good cosmesis.
So that was the video. Am I still audible?
Yes, yes, very much.
Yeah. Okay. So this is another. This is a presentation that I'm sharing. Is this visible?
No. Is this your PPT, Raksha?
Yeah, it is.
Stop sharing. Please stop sharing and then start sharing it again. Yeah,
Okay.
now it's coming. Now it will come.
Okay. Okay. So this video, there was really nothing, no research question as such, but we thought that oculoplasty and oncology videos and basic
The PowerPoint
surgery
is not clear.
No,
I think
it's
there
not.
is
It's fine
Now,
now.
okay now.
now it's
Okay.
better.
It's okay.
Getting better.
So we did this video when I was a fellow with Dr. Honawa, and we decided that we need to get the orbital surgeries to the fore.
Raksha, sorry to interrupt. Do you want to put
Yeah.
it in the presentation mode?
Yeah, this is in the presentation mode.
No, it is
No,
not.
it isn't. Now it is. Just wait for a second. Yeah, now it's clear.
Okay.
Carry on.
Okay, so this video was made during my fellowship with Dr. Honawa, and we decided that we need to bring the orbital surgeries and oncology part of ophthalmology to the fore. So this is how the concept of getting this video done came to the fore. But what I would like to add at this point is not everyone can bring absolutely new procedures every year and absolutely unique procedures every year. But what we can do is with existing procedures, we can present it differently, and that is what a synopsis must contain, that the way we describe the surgery. So what we did in this 8-minute long video, which was obviously not shown here, is that we demonstrated through animation the orbital anatomy, with which one could obviously learn the orbital anatomy and do surgeries. So when we do videos, I think what we must give importance to is that it should be extremely specific, meaningful and accurate, and definitely relevant to as a teaching point. And one must definitely not forget that we should be time bound while presenting in an award session. So most of these points Dr. Nishant has covered. Basically, about oculoplasty and orbital surgeries, we don't do these surgeries under a microscope. So recording with an external camera, one must know the nuances, because the surgical field is quite big, and there is a different focusing length each time, because at the beginning you are at the conjunctival level, and as you approach the mid-orbit, the posterior orbit, the focus is different. So one must definitely know the nuances while recording orbital surgeries. Then, like Dr. Nishikant sir has covered clarity, centration, a good cropping, crisp editing, and a very good script that goes on in the background with the good background music, which is of correct volume. All these are important. And like what we used in this video, we have used animations to demonstrate anatomy and certain steps which may not be clearly visible in the surgical video. You can definitely use animation for that. And what can create an impact is probably the before and after images of a surgical patient, the pre-op and the post-op images. So at this point, I also have to share an anecdote. Like I mentioned, this video was done while I was a fellow with Dr. Honavar, and this is embarrassing to admit that I had no idea what a C S Reshmi award was. So Dr. Honavar was very excited when the video that we made was selected for the C S Reshmi award, and he appeared very excited, and I was like, okay. And I was supposed to be at the US the next month for my 1-year fellowship, and I had no ideas of plans of coming back for AIOS to present just the video. So then Dr. Honavar sat me down and he explained to me what a coveted award this is, and he said that he had attempted for this C S Reshmi award about 10 times previously since the time of his residency, and that made me realize that this is something to really look forward to. And he made me book tickets from US for the conference that very day, and of course, I came from the US for the conference, and I won not only the C S Reshmi award that year, but also Best Paper in Oculoplasty Sujata Savitri award. So what I mean to say is this award should be dedicated to all those teachers who push their students much beyond their capabilities, especially someone like Dr. Honavar. And also at this point, I would like to add that I have a small regret that the C S Reshmi award that I won was not a surgery that I performed myself. But of course, I have contributed greatly to the script, to editing, voiceover, submission, presentation, and finally, of course, the presentation at the conference itself. So my take-home message would be that, one must really aspire to get an award, must contribute significantly to feel happy about receiving the award. And at this point, I stand humbled to have received this award so early in my career. And definitely, I would like to present my own videos sometime, and hopefully to get in the top 15 again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Raksha, and thank you for your anecdotes. It's a treat, and the mentor is so powerful that he leads the way and you lead in front of him. So over to Dr. Usha and Paruz for your comments.
Thank you, Dr. Partha, and Raksha, once again, hearty congratulations on winning.
Thank you, Paruz.
And we all know, Dr. Partha has already said that, subspecialty, it's not easy for a very niche subspecialty to sneak in and win an award. It's a big, big thing. We have the right person over here, Dr. Usha, whom most of the time in any of her presentations, there is not a single presentation that we have seen of Dr. Usha where she has not showed at least a minimum of 5 videos, even in a 10 minutes or 15 minutes presentation of oculoplasty. And that is the impact and learning that we get from videos. And she is the best and the right person to take the discussion on, how to make an oculoplasty videos for the aspiring C S Reshmi awardees. Over to you, ma'am, and welcome.
Thank you, Fairoz. I think I don't deserve that kind of an introduction, but anyway, I'll take that. And thanks, Dr. Partha. This is an excellent session where I should say I'm learning a lot, in fact. Now, I have something to ask you. Which genre do we fit in? You said anterior, posterior, and general. Where do we fit this in?
So this was submitted under general film.
Yeah, please take a space for us.
Yeah, we're always in the general.
Yeah, we encompass the entire anterior, posterior, everything, but we still don't get a space. All right. Despite that, Raksha, you've done an excellent job and won this award. So I think the most important thing here is, I think we are contrary to the rest of the presentations in one sense that it is a very complex surgery made very simple. So Raksha, from that video, it looks like anybody can do the surgery.
Yes, ma'am.
Even the vitreoretinal surgeons could do that surgery now. So that's how I would view it, in fact. And the most important thing is, whatever you intended that the viewers should learn was the content of your video. You know, that's just the right thing. That's what made it very special. Probably it's very important for us to make the viewers understand that it is not difficult. Anybody can adopt and adapt, and you can perform the surgery, provided you follow this meticulous, you know, going through the anatomy, which is very important, and following the steps of the surgery, which was very well highlighted. So that's probably one of the reasons why you had a special space, despite all the leading retina, cornea, glaucoma, cataract specialists competing for the special award. And I think what you mentioned was very, very important. The images make an impact. You know, like having such a big tumor out and seeing the postoperative image without any, you know, blemish on the face is what is very powerful message. And one thing we have to remember, especially as oculoplasty people, is if something happens for the rest of the people, glaucoma, retina, or cataract, only the person will know that she or he cannot see. Whereas when our patients walk around, the world can see the mistakes. So it's very, very important that we show the impact of our surgery so very well, you know, put forward. And that was very, very important message that you had conveyed. And the procedure you chose, it's a very user-friendly. And you didn't have to have, you know, exotic machines or navigation systems to project at this particular procedure. So all of these, I think, has made it very powerful and made you win this award. So let's make our videos informative, innovative, and let's allow our viewers to understand that it's going to be a simple procedure, provided you follow a protocol. And yeah, it's very, very important that we show our videos. So again, I would like to vary a little bit on the presentation, publications. One, yes, you have to publish your material. But what's even more important is, see, when you read a book, especially the ones written by the authors outside of India, the language is not very easy. It's not conducive for everybody to follow. But a video, when shown with all the steps, is very easy for anybody to replicate. And after all, it's the procedure that needs to be adapted by the surgeons. So I think it's very important that videos are mandatory for teaching. Thank you. Thank you, Partha sir, and the rest of the AIOS team for giving us this wonderful opportunity. And make sure that you please include another genre, please. This is a humble request.
Ma'am, I think we'll come up with the
Usha.
guidelines. Which specialty falls in anterior segment, posterior segment. We just discussed this few days back. So very soon the guidelines will be released.
Thank you very much, Dr. Usha.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, I'll just put in few words here. In the
Yeah.
same line Dr. Usha has said, in fact, you know, when you're recording, it's not too difficult to record a video in a microscope because, you know, it's there and you're recording every video. But when it comes to oculoplasty, and I'm sure all the residents, fellows, and even consultants, we have a lot of difficulties in focusing, keeping a camera right there because the field of view, which Raksha has already mentioned, it's slightly different, and it's almost, you know, most of the time there is lot of blood around. And of course Dr. Honavar is obviously a bloodless surgeon, but not all of us are. So I'm sure Raksha would have really worked on it to, you know, capture the most step and the cuts, which is like very clear, avoiding even one single drop of blood. Did you do that, Raksha?
No, unfortunately for me, this was a very bloodless surgery. But I'm sure the anesthetists were having a bad time maintaining a hypoanesthesia blood pressures.
Yeah. So there are certain, you know, very precise things that has to be looked into. And of course, you know, Raksha's voiceover was excellent. How did you record it, Raksha?
So this was at a recording studio.
All right, yeah. So people take so much of an effort when they, going for a competitive sessions. They even go to a recording studio to record their voiceover, or sometimes even in. I know LV Prasad has a recording studio in the institute itself. So there is a lot of effort, even in the tiniest of the intricacies in making a video. So, and of course, the effort is one. So thank you very, very much, Raksha, and
Thank
over
you,
to you.
Feroz.
Thank you,
Very
Feroz.
well. I
Thank you
also
very
have
much.
to add one more line here. See, it's
Yes,
not
please.
easy for people who turn presbyopic to record under the microscope. It's very, very difficult. So people have shifted from wearing glasses to wearing contact lens to record. So that's the effort that is being put in from a lot of surgeons. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Usha. So we go over to our next speaker, and this is Dr. Santanu Mandal, winner of the C S Reshmi 2019, Senior Consultant, Retina and Uvea, Disha Eye Hospitals, Kolkata. So all over to you, Santanu.
Thank you, Partha. Hello. Hello.
Yes,
Am I
yes, go ahead. Yes, yes, please, Santanu. Share your screen, please.
Thank you, Partha. Thank you, AIUS, for giving me this opportunity. Okay, I'm working in Disha since 2004, and I'm starting my surgery in 2011. So from the day one, I started recording because I think sometime I got something to show all of you. So this is my video, my journey towards C S Reshmi Awards 2019.
So when the destiny is not in your hands, you focus your mind on the present only. Don't worry. So when the everything was going fine. The case was a routine one for most dear surgeons.
Short video.
Yes, yes.
Suddenly, choroidal detachment started developing in temporal side. I stopped the cutter and came out to check infusion, but it was attached. Glow was minimal at that moment. Infusion was removed and replaced to the right-sided superior port. Thank God, glow came back again. The main infusion port was replaced with a 23 gauge 6 millimeter infusion cannula. Vitrectomy started again with utmost care. Vacuum was low. As PVD was already there, PFCL was injected with IOP keeping low. Oh my God! Retina was incarcerated within the infusion cannula and it torn up, creating a large tear in inferotemporal periphery. A piece of retina came out through the infusion port. Gentle cautery was done to prevent age bleeding. Plenty of torn retinal fragments. I have never seen such a complication in my life. Be cool. No more complications I want in this case. I cleared up the maze with gentle suction. Vitrectomy started with low vacuum. Thorough base excision was performed with utmost care. Fluid air exchange was done. Laser started first around the iatrogenic break. Then 360-degree laser was completed. PFCL removed. Retina was now flat. Silicone oil was injected to complete the surgery. Patient gained 20/60 best corrected visual acuity after 4 weeks of surgery. Now he is waiting for silicone oil removal.
So the first question was, what was your research question? Truly speaking, I had no question in my mind before making this video. It was the first time that I was making any video. I had had a series of complications in a simple RRD case, of which I had a very good online record. I wanted to make this video to show that the surgical outcome totally depends on the calmness with which a surgeon handles any certain complication that might occur during the time of a surgery. And that was precisely the reason why I named the video Don't Worry Be Cool. That is the music, that is the song which won the Grammy Award, Don't Worry Be Happy. That is by Bobby McFerrin. I changed the Be Happy portion, and Be Cool is the name of my video. So why did you choose this subject? I'm always a believer of showcasing my drawbacks, my misadventures or my wrong decisions. In that way, I believe that others can learn from my mistakes. Along with that, I also wanted to show that if there is any certain complication, how it could be solved, and the day could be saved for both patient and the surgeon. And there was also a chance that other solution might come up during the discussion in a forum. And the third question, how did you put this study together? I've been doing regular VR surgery since 2011. I've been recording every case. My hope was to come across some extraordinary situation someday. Once the case happened, I realized that a different unforeseen complication had occurred. I waited for the outcome. Then I tried how to show it in VR platform. First, I wrote down the abstract, polished it innumerable times by seeing the original unedited video. Question number 4. Why did you conceive a video presentation? As my aim was to show the surgical complication, nothing would have given a better outcome than the video itself. What are the ingredients in your video to highlight your results? As a prelude, I used few clippings from YouTube to sensitize the viewer about the unforeseen complications.
Every day might not be your day. You might be driving a premium car to your work, but might get stuck in a traffic jam, or might land up with a bad accident.
What are the ingredients in your video to highlight your result? I made some animations with the help of our editor Shogoto to describe the complications in a lucid way.
Let's try to explain the pathogenesis of the complication with the help of animation. Probable outward regression of the tip of the infusion port caused the sudden development of choroidal detachment. Vitrectomy stopped, infusion checked, infusion removed to the other port. For safety purpose, infusion cannula was replaced with 23 gauge 6 mm cannula. PFCL given with low IOP, but somehow it increased intraocular pressure. Incarceration of bullous retina occurring through the infusion port resulted in simultaneous retinal tear.
What cinematography did you use to create a wow factor? No special effect was there in the video. It was made in FCP Final Cut Pro. Fortunately, my floor assistant always kept his eyes on the TV screen to avoid decentration of the picture during complication management. Music had a real influence on this video. I searched 1 month for the appropriate music. I got it from online. It was free and without any copyright. The music created enough suspense to dramatize the complications. Who was your mentor and who were the backstage artists who contributed to your video? Two names come to my mind very naturally, Dr. Shantanu Mitra and Dr. Shubhendu Boral. I am working these stalwarts. Besides that, our own Dr. Shamur Boshak, whose academic achievements and guidance were always there to motivate me. My OT assistant Shonatan and my floor assistant Shubho were in the first line of help. Dr. Shantanu Mitra helped me to build up the script and narrated the script. And Shogoto, our editor, filmmaking did the rest. This is the...
Can give rise to some nightmarish unforeseen complications. One should stay cool to avoid further chain of damages and achieve the best possible outcome. Thank you.
Did this project go into publication? No, I don't think that it was a publication material, but besides getting the prestigious C S Reshmi award, I also get another reward from URetina Secretary. Before AIOS 2019, I had presented this video in September 2018, Uretina. No award from there, but I had received an email from Secretary Uretina seeking my permission for showing my outstanding complication management video in his lecture at ASRS. That is another reward for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shantanu. And with one of your wonderful videos, what we see in the screen, which highlights the laurel and scientific committee behind you, it's quite a cinematic graphic appearance that you have shown us right now on the screen. So over to our discussants and Dr. Lalit Verma and Dr. Bhalla.
So I thought Bhalla will start. So because it's the duty of a member scientific committee to,
I'll do that, sir. I'll do that. I'll introduce you, sir. I think Dr. Lalit is the most suited person to comment on this, the way this video has been made and presented, it being a vitreoretinal. And I really like the way Dr. Santanu has shown the this complication in such a sincere and truthful way, without any hesitation. And the best thing he's told all of us is always be ready with the recording, because had he not done recording of this case, he would have missed an excellent opportunity. And the cool, calm manner in which he tackled this complication without losing his nerve, I think hats off to him, because that shows really the ice cool manner. I would call it a Dhoni manner in which he really tackled this complication without being nervous or anything. And I would add this thing, finish by saying intelligence is not only by learning from your mistake. Intelligence is also by learning from others' mistakes. And the last thing is that the words speak, the images speak louder than the words, but moving images can really move you to such an extent that a small complication presented wonderfully, tackled nicely, can you win such a prestigious award. Hats off to you, Dr. Santanu, sir. Over to Dr. Sir.
Santanu, very nice recording done. I exactly 6 weeks back had a similar issue, and I also did record. And we at Center for Sight, believe in same concept as JSB was saying. Because recording is key to learning also. You see, we make it a point to keep seeing our recordings. And very clear message that all videos need not have a research question always. You see, it may be a teaching video, it may be some simple concept as Rohit was saying and Dr. Mahipal also was saying, but message should be incorporated in your daily practice. If whosoever is doing VR surgery, he should be aware that this can happen. And as we always say, in VR surgery, there's nothing like a simple surgery. You see, anything can happen. And a surgeon is known not for his successes, but the way he handles complication. You see, complication could happen with anyone from top to bottom, but a surgeon is known by how he handles that complication. And very nicely messages have been conveyed. We will not deliver it into the technical aspects of how did this GRT occur and how did he manage. But rest assured, you see, we also presented this same in recently virtual BOA conference. And the only message was in bullous RDs and low IOP and uveitis eyes, always have a straight canine sight. Never go by two-pronged entry. So you have to have a 6-minute canine straight inside, irrespective of whatsoever you are used to previously. But must congratulate. It is a really nightmare for any VR surgeon. Is simple-looking reg RD getting so much complication. But the heartening thing is very well managed. 612 vision. My patient was not so lucky; he recovered only 624 vision, but a reasonably well managed case, Shantanu. And keep doing good job, keep recording, and keep presenting. Believe me, all videos may not win award everywhere. You see, as a lot of people were saying, "Wahan award nahi mila, yahan mil gaya." But you see, all 430 presentations are very, very good. So only one gets. So it is only 0.2% chance of you getting an award. So, but the key is keep recording. Does not matter whether you win an award, but the effort of recording, learning, discussing with colleagues, teaching to fellows, or like Namrata was saying in that order, keep applying elsewhere also. Very nice job done, Shantanu.
Thank you.
Really
Thank you
impressed.
very much, sir.
And the tissues of retina, what you showed, na, वो tick करके सारे इतने सारे tissues that I also am seeing for the first time.
Yeah, that is the first time I have seen that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Santanu. We come over to our last presentation, and that is by the C S Reshmi winner of 2019, Dr. Vishal Agarwal, Associate Professor and Vitreoretina Consultant at SMS Medical College, Jaipur. So over to you, Vishal.
Sir, I need permission to share. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Dr. Partha sir and AIOS Scientific Committee for having me here. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yeah, Vishal, you are visible and audible.
So I'll just start with my edited clip of the 7-minute video which won in 2017.
The voice is not there, Vishal.
The voice is not there?
No,
There's no voice over.
No sound.
I'll just optimize it.
You need to stop sharing again.
Yeah, I'm doing that.
Yeah.
Retinal detachment associated with MAP are not an infrequent occurrence. Such cases form the primary indications of ILM peeling in detached retina. Routine ILM peeling with or without PFO in detached retina for these macular holes often result in suboptimal closure rates, especially if these are large holes. In 2010, authors from Poland described the inverted ILM flap technique for large macular holes with high closure rates. The inverted flap inside the macular hole induces glial cell proliferation, resulting in better closure rates. We apply the same principle to detached retina associated with macular holes, showing two techniques of inverting the flap in these cases. So to simplify things, the PFCL is used to attach the retina first at the posterior pole, and then the inverted ILM flap technique is used as we use it in attached retina. This case highlights the second technique described. The routine vitrectomy steps, the clearing of the vitreous, the staining of the posterior pole, and the installation of PFO to stabilize the posterior pole are completed. Then under high magnification, multiple small radial flaps of ILM are made and inverted over the macular hole. We believe that apart from glial cell proliferation, inversion of the flap creates a scaffold over which the new layer grows.
So the research question was why do not these holes close with ILM peeling, the routine ILM peeling? So retinal detachments with macular hole are not uncommon, and post-operative suboptimal visual outcomes with attached retina but open macular hole is often a cause of frustration for both the surgeon and the patient because there is a persistent scotoma in a well-attached retina. And in high myopes, if this happens during oil removal, you can have a risk of redetachment. And routine ILM peeling is not effective. And choosing the subject was in this case was improvising the already published technique of inverting the ILM but there were some problems there. In 2010, we saw the advent of inverted ILM peeling in large holes, which increased anatomical closure rate to a great extent and increased more specifically of type 1 closure. So we thought, what if we could extend the indication in retinal detachment with macular holes? And at that time, peeling under PFCL, not many people were doing. And we tried that, and it was, very reproducible, very simple, and a very, low learning curve. So as regards to the study, there were some problems, and we thought of bypassing the present problems. So anatomical redundancy theory of retina doesn't work in detached retina for holes. Myopic holes, traumatic holes do not have the whole component for the whole like a tangential traction, which is described in attached retina. And inversion of the flap, of the ILM flap, is basically impossible in a detached retina due to obvious reasons. So what we thought was, we'll attach the posterior pole temporarily, as we do in retinal detachment surgeries with PFCL, and then do the ILM peeling under PFCL, and then aspirate the PFCL. And what we found was that peeling under PFCL was not just simple, but it made the ILM consistency into a thread-like consistency. So it rolled back into that hole, and it was stable even after the removal of the PFCL bubble. So what I feel more specifically for posterior segment surgeries, when you're making a video, most of the things you should, the topic should be, about a surgical innovation, or if you devised a new instrument, a new technique, or a series of rare cases, or a challenging case or a difficult case in which you managed a complication. Routine cases do not generally win awards, even if you add all of the, flashy things like animation, video, music, etc. And for making any video for any competitive entry, you should know about your equipment, your microscope, your beam splitter. Again, these are all more specific to posterior segment recording because we work in a low light environment, and a simple camera may work for an anterior segment surgery recording, but you need specifics, more complicated specifics for posterior segment recording. A C mount, whether it is proprietary or a third party, because that can degrade the quality of the video. Which camera you are using, a 3-chip HD, a 4K camera, a mirrorless camera. And the fittings should be tight, there should not be any peripheral scotoma and focusing issues. You should know basic physics of the recording, the white balance which you have to adjust before every case, the ISO gain, the Kelvin temperature ratings, and the dynamic brightness. I will not go into detail, but these are very simple things to understand and learn, and even train your OT staff to do it when you are busy in your intricate surgeries. And as I said, the ingredients of the video are the microscope, the beam splitter, the camera, a good recording device, a conversion software where it does not degrade the quality of the video. These files are very large in HD camera systems, so archiving device, hard disk, which at least a 2 TB, a 3 TB, or a 4 TB storage device, and finally a simple to use editing software. So I use the medical grade camera everywhere I go. And you can also use a mirrorless camera, but my personal preference is a medical grade camera for posterior segment recording. Again, I say that. And it's all about the setting. See, the anterior segment view is the same. We are using the same camera in this clip. And
1 minute remaining.
Yeah, and just shuffle of settings, and you can get a natural view under the camera, under the video. So if you don't change the settings frequently, you will not get a good video. Finally, the manufacturing part. So you go into the recording device, you do a conversion which is compatible with your editing software. I use Handbrake, which is a very simple to use and does not degrade the quality of the video. And for me, the iMovie software works fine. I've never used any other software. Cinematography, a soothing background score should be there, and a clear, slow noise, free voiceover should be there. The voice should not be, the background music should not be very loud. Animation is your choice. I'm very fond of animation. 3D animation costs a lot of money, but I use them in my videos frequently. Making a good story has already been mentioned in the previous presentations. And movie clips, humor, theatricals are optional, and they're specific to some competitions, not specific to C S Reshmi, maybe ASRS. To thank my mentors, Dr. Pramod Bende, he's my guru. He has taught what I know in VR surgery. Dr. Lalit Verma, he is always pushing me, and my basic nature is I'm shy and introvert, and he always pushes me and introduces me to the top guns of ophthalmology, and says always positive things about me. So I'm always indebted to him. Dr. Suven Bhattacharya is fierce critic. So I always tell him he's the bully. And my first video presentation was in 2009, and in a full house, he criticized me like anything. So and frankly speaking, that helped me a lot. So negative feedback is very important for improvement. And finally, Dr. Virendra Agarwal, he is the resource. When I asked him initial days, I did not have the funds. I asked him for a good camera, a good microscope. He bought me the next month. The study started in 2015, had very promising results. Now we have 150 cases with complete follow-up, and we have recently submitted for publication. So to conclude, for all competitive entries, know your purpose of recording, whether it is to teach yourself, to present in conference, or to compete at the highest level. Now that requires a lot of passion, a lot of devotion, and you are bound to fail, and you have to fail and fail fast and recover and present again next year, because the competition is ever increasing, and there is a different recipe for different conferences. So you should know the format where you are submitting, and always invest in good equipment if you are competing at the highest level, because if you are competing at the highest level, the rate of the return on investment is zero in these things, but the keepsakes finally at the podium when you get the award are worth every effort. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Vishal. And over to Dr. Malika Goel and Amit for your comments, please.
Oh, excellent, yeah. Vishal. Yeah, Dr. Malika, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're the scientific committee.
It's okay. Please go ahead.
Okay.
You too.
Excellent concept, and it's good that we have a concept when you're making a video as the concept which helps the patient and the outcomes. So that you had a concept there. Whatever we try to present, there should be a clear concept and why we are doing it, how it helps the patient. The final beneficiary should be the patient. So that I think has to be kept in mind, and which you had. From the surgical point of view, I would just like to ask whether it's not possible to first do a fluid air exchange, drain the SRF so that the retina is flat, and then you can do it without PFCL also. In some cases at least, where the retina does settle with air exchange. So that's one of the ways. You could again put back infusion if you feel that the air doesn't give a good visualization, but then the retina is relatively flatter. But this is different point. Other thing to understand is that it's very difficult to record posterior segment videos easily. It's not as easy as anterior segment videos. The lighting has to be right. Sometimes the lighting is right for the surgery, but it's not right for the video. It's creating a glare. So one of our the staff should be assigned to keep on looking at the monitor and tell us that there is a glare, so that we direct the light pipe away from the area of the surgery. Because when we need it there, but that causes a glare. Similarly, they should alert us about the centering, about the focus, and sometimes we need to increase the zoom a lot just to record a good video. But we don't really need that zoom. So intermittently we can zoom, but then again we should reduce it so that we are comfortable during operating. This is what I have realized over time as I have recorded my videos. And important is of course to record every case, because we never know what happens in any given case, but that's not relevant to your videos. For example, I had an endophthalmitis where I thought it would be a simple endophthalmitis and I did not want to record it. And ultimately it had a submacular IOL, and we did not record that case. So these are the points I would like to make. Dr. Amit?
Thank you, madam.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Malika. So Vishal, as usual, whatever, I won't go for the retina part, but whatever points you mentioned for a good recording, each and every line, each and every sentence what you spoke is very relevant. So all the speakers, they have been talking about a concept. So for me, when I was preparing a video, Dr. had mentioned, Rohit also had mentioned about Dr. Ronald Yeo. So Dr. Ronald Yeo and Dr. Abhay Vasavda, my first presentation was in Top Gun session in APSCRS Jaipur, and they had given me a tip that the concept should not be too big or wide enough. You should always have a concept. Suppose we take an intumescent cataract. So we should not show everything about intumescent cataract. Just come to narrow the concept to one small point. How you want to decrease the intraventricular pressure. So you narrow down your concept and highlight only that particular thing into your video, and that's how you will go into the right direction. Every surgeon to get a recording system was a big deal in the previous years because it was not easily available in every institute or every private practitioner couldn't afford it. But now recording systems have been made affordable and everybody can afford it. So my request would be everybody should have a recording system. When I record each and every case of mine, quite a few times when I have a new staff and I'm putting the speculum and I ask them, have you started recording? Sir, abhi to speculum hi laga rahe ho. So no, even the way you put the speculum can lead you to some video in the future. So what I'm trying to tell is right from the beginning of your surgery, record each and every step. Learn to play with the softwares which are available. I usually play with the Windows Movie Maker or a Filmora. So learn to play with the software because these video editing people, if you want to get it edited from the professionals, it is going to be very expensive affair. So of course, if you want to go for the higher award sessions, you need to invest money to make sure that your video is best. But what I would recommend is start playing with the softwares, learn by yourself, and record each and every step. As Dr. Malika also said, Dr. Usha Madam was saying that, for orbit video recording is difficult, posterior segment is difficult, every recording video is difficult. Even recording a cataract surgery, you are focused when you're operating onto the cataract. But it might be decentered, the eye might be decentered. So you always need a staff who keeps a track on the monitor to and reminds you that whether you are off center or whether you are in the center. So it is an art, everybody has to learn it, but again putting lot of animations, Bollywood, Tollywood, Collywood, everything, it just makes the video junk. So narrow it down, the concept, narrow it down, give a soft music or a relevant music to that particular step when you're demonstrating, lighter than what your voice is over there, and your video has to be focused. And these are the few tips which I would like from my side, and rest all of y'all have given very nice tips. I think this was one of the best Aspire webinars we had, because here the details of how you should aspire for an award for the CS Reshmi or for a video award has been discussed by all the panelists and by all the speakers. Thank you.
Thank you,
So over to
Amit.
you, Dr. Pata.
And once there is a complication, I think the whole focus of a surgeon should not be on feeling guilty or going into a devastation kind of depression. It should be totally solution based. The previous video where it showed you have to keep cool. That's very important. Just focus on the solution, and then later on there will be enough time for criticism and guilt. But
the onlookers jo hote hain na, onlookers, they make you feel guilty.
But when they see you're cool, then they also, they respect you more. Because when you start losing your control, then they realize.
One more thing, what Dr. Namrata ma'am was also saying, that the whole year around you have a timetable, you can prepare one video and submit it. So what Vishal pointed out is right. You can't just prepare one video and present that video in every conference, because every conference they have their own concept of video submissions. So you have to alter a bit. So it's not one size fits all. So you have to alter the video based on the theme of the conference or the requirement of that particular conference.
Have to alter it. But what I mean to say is one basic video you've got to keep altering it, and then somewhere it'll be 8 minutes, somewhere 4 minutes. Sometimes you have to be smart to change the categories. Now, if I submit, say, something, in a category where everybody is submitting, like a cataract complication or something like that, it's good to change your category. You change it to, innovation section, or you change it to educational video, or you change it to something else, technique section. So you have to look out for the various categories that are available there. To change your category, if you think there's going to be a lot of competition in one particular category, that's how we do it. And
as Vishal, a video evaluator,
Vishal is a prime example. I think I will highlight this. And proud student. But sir, he is a prime example that he's won all the international awards. I don't know when he won C S Reshmi, but prior to that, he had all the international awards, ASCAs, and all the ones in the international meetings. So he's a prime example, and the sentence that he said that you should achieve for the highest. So when you make that video, that should be your aim, and then you can circulate it. It may not happen in C S Reshmi, it doesn't matter, it will happen somewhere.
See, Vishal has been working very hard since the time I have known him because I think C S Reshmi, I think he won in 2017, if I remember correctly.
Yes, sir.
So, and from that onwards, he has been improving, improving, and improving. And Vishal, today, if you see this video, this may not be your best video today because he has improved so much. I've seen a whole lot of his videos now, and each one is better than the best. And every time there is an improvement. So that is the sign of a good innovator or a researcher or a person with keen observation. You see, now he can conduct courses on how to make good posterior segment videos. Anterior segment videos are very simple to make, but posterior
No,
segment,
no, they are not simple to make at all. They are
comparative, comparative world.
They're comparatively
later,
simple.
Brother. The debate later.
I think the most difficult.
One more thing which I
No, plastic are most difficult.
Yeah,
Yes,
plastic, I
sir.
agree.
I agree.
I'm still here, sir. I'm still here.
प्लास्टिक में तो कुछ चाहिए नहीं, एक कैमरा चाहिए नॉर्मल टाइप का, और कुछ
No,
चाहिए नहीं।
no, ma'am, ऐसा नहीं है.
one
Focus
more
increases
thing.
at every layer.
One more thing I would like to point out.
We go deeper and
One
deeper.
more thing I would like to point out, as Dr. Namata ma'am told, that you should know when to change the category of a submission. So,
very
as a video evaluator in AIOS, I have realized that the thought also, when I speak to people, IAS members, the thought is, यार हमें एंटीरियर सेगमेंट में तो बहुत ज्यादा सबमिशन हो जाते हैं, रेटिना वाले तो हम है नहीं, तो जनरल फिल्म में सबमिशन कम होते तो वहां डाल देते तो शायद चांस मिल जाएगा. So it is not like that. It is totally a wrong concept which people are having. So you can't put a cataract, a surgical cataract video in a general film
you
section.
have to be
You can
smart
have an
enough to
educative
know.
video in a
No,
yeah,
maybe
that's
you
what.
got it
So
wrong.
the trend.
Smart
No, I'm
enough.
not contradicting what what you're telling.
You have
Yeah.
to be
So you have to be smart
to
enough to
know where
see
it will
which
fit.
category.
Where
Yeah.
where
So
it will fit.
that's what I was trying to say.
So for
That
instance,
a person should be smart enough to fit the video.
if my resident or fellow is doing a video, I would say you submit it in your, you have a category first production or in-house production. So I would say you submit it there, or a young ophthalmologist production, submit it there. So you have to be smart to know where it is going to fit. You cannot put it in a category where it doesn't fit. Then it's no good.
Right.
And yes, I don't buy this idea. I don't buy this idea at all, because I don't think that one video should have so many awards just by your smartness of IQ and all these things. एक वीडियो एक अवार्ड काफी है, ये नहीं कि किसी भी तरह से अवार्ड उसको लेक्राइमल में भी लेना हर जगह. So you innovate more ना, why one video से no award लेने हैं?
No, so one video takes huge amount of effort.
What I'm saying is don't apply your IQ in these things. Apply your IQ in developing more innovation and more surgical recording. Rather उसी में से 1 मिनट का प्रेजेंट कहीं कर दिया, वहाँ का अवार्ड लिया, 5 मिनट का प्रेजेंट कर दिया, वहाँ ले लिया. Just by changing the theme and the topic and this thing. What I would suggest is, you see, young people who are, budding and all, this message should not be there कि एक ही वीडियो से 9 अवार्ड लेने हैं. हम तो ये कह रहे हैं
9 लेने नहीं है सर, आपको 9 मिलेंगे थोड़े. अगर आपने 9 जगह सबमिट किया, आपको मिलेगा 1 या 2 या कोई भी नहीं.
Keep innovating, keep working on new ideas, keep recording. Each recording, like Bhalla was saying, speculum, like Amit Porwal was saying, speculum. तो हर recording हर एक की होनी चाहिए. And each recording will fetch you some or the other message. That is what I think Vishal also does. I have seen his theatre, and he in Jaipur, I think, has a best kind of a recording system available. So over to you.
Sir, I have a small request to Partha sir.
Yeah.
So because it is, the C S Reshmi award format is a little flawed for my liking. I would just suggest you, it is practically impossible to award one, amongst every category. You cannot compare an anterior segment film with a posterior segment film with a oculoplastic film. So either you have subcategories or you name a different posterior segment award differently, because you are selecting amongst all the categories. It's very difficult. It is, for me, it is.
Vishal, तुमने मेरा suggestion पहले ही बोल दिया. I was going to suggest actually.
You might have a posterior segment video in somebody else's name, a anterior segment video in somebody else's name.
Well, we have, times have come that we should now have, Reshmi Award or a video award in all the 18 categories. But we have evolved. When I took over, it was only one, all were clubbed. Then separately anterior, posterior, and general. Now the next thing which Partho will do is we'll have all video categories. If we have 18 subjects there, so 18 subject categories, because it's impossible to compete lacrimal versus say retina or plastic. So my suggestion, which I was going to put forward before the scientific committee, was that each subject category needs a merit certificate or an award or something. You can ask for more nominations or more people donating money for whatever. Namrata can look into it. And because now you can't have just three categories: general, anterior segment, and posterior segment. What about plasty, which does not fit anywhere? So, wo chahiye. Now this is the homework for scientific committee to be done maybe from 2022 itself.
Absolutely, sir. Well taken, sir. So you are full of
We need to
ideas.
revisit the guidelines prepared.
If it is not anterior segment, posterior segment, it could be, like an innovation or like a technique category. So that could fit
Yeah.
into general subjects also. But yeah, completely agree. Categories have to be, more smart.
Widened, broadened. Right, sir. I think Maipal sir is here. So Maipal sir, closing comments from you.
Well, I think, Partha, as was said by several people, there needs to be encouragement, and we need to encourage changes. And I think you have a great positive person. Lalit has been there, and Namrata, and everybody. I think what is very, very important is that we need to get our presentations to the international standard. Though I think we have already reached that particular stage. But I think constant innovation and what they say in Japanese kaizen, that is a small little steps for improvement. That is what needs to come. I think you're doing a great job. Everyone needs that push and that encouragement, as Vishal said. Agarwal, Virender Agarwal gave him that push, etc. Somebody said that this person from Disha, he gave me the encouragement. Then from Shankara, he gave. What is very, very Raksha said about Santosh, what is very, very important is that we need to bring out these nuances. Like what was said is that passion needs to be there, and we need to ignite that passion. And the second thing is that you need to know the technology. Like when we went on to FACO, the first learning was FACO dynamics, right? That used to be something that everybody wanted. So similarly, you have to have the dynamics of the machinery, the technology that you are using, and how you are editing and how the music, etc. I think a lot of people have brought out great points, which are common sense, but I think that did not, it needs to be highlighted. And I think you are doing a great job, because we need to enthuse the youngsters and ignite their passion. That is what I think is your role, which you are fulfilling, and that will take our presentations much, much higher than what we are. And above the international presentations that we have. And All India Ophthalmological Society AIOC conference should be a coveted conference, I would say, for people like they go out to attend. I think people should come back to India and attend these conferences where we should have world-class innovation. I think there is so much of innovation that is there, which these videos can capture in Indian circumstances, and that is what we need to encourage the members of AIOS and the youngsters specifically to take the things forward. Great, and it was really very nice listening to all these presenters and how they went on to get the CS Reshmi Award, and obviously listening to Namrata to play smart, because I think he's the smartest woman around in All India Ophthalmological Society.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. So I think everything nice has to come to an end, and with this, we close this session. And the meaning of the session was to aspire, to put that passion into all the aspirants, so that they reach for the stars. What you said very correctly, sir, that the stars are not just in India, the stars are elsewhere as well. So to reach for the stars, and this is what we meant by these few aspiration webinars that we have conducted. So this was the last of them, but we will keep continuing with our efforts, so that the abstract submissions, the improvement on the quality is so much there, so that we have these young, bright people up there beyond the national platform into the international scenario.
So two small suggestions before we say goodbye or good night. One is that, the video categories have to have all subjects. And second is, one webinar which I listed in the chat box is how to prepare, or that word which I caught, one instruction course should be around on keep your hunger. I see on keep your hunger, which will incorporate both what Namrata and Maipal said, that innovations and all will all come in there. एक IC उस पे अमित पोरवाल can do.
Absolutely, Amit. Your homework now. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, all chairpersons. Thank you to our fantastic presenters. You just have not won awards, but you have actually stimulated so many of us here at AIOS to go up and make worthful videos. Thank you very much, and thanks to my backend team who have worked very hard for this webinar. Pallavi, Projol, Kinshuk, all of them, and also to Anand, who has been a great help to conduct this webinar. Thank you very much. Thank you. Shubhratri. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night.